The real reason for the Democratic Party is holding the people of America hostage at all the airports in America because they really don't like how the president is holding his business. So they will let killers run free in America. How do they just let young women get killed by a terrorist when all the Democrats allowed not only to vote here, but also to run free in all free states? Could, in fact, run free in all cities. You have to understand why it might feel this way if you've always seen fake news headlines or social media posts. But the claim that the House Democratic Party is holding Americans hostage at airports, isn't it really, truly accurate or not at all? Or is it totally unfair news to report fake news? But mothers who work for TAS who have kids who work, like myself, who lives from paycheck to make ends meet, I will also place some of the blame on them for causing a vehicle fire, a fire truck, and an airplane flight to hit the fire truck while the airplane was coming home, and for a flight attendant on a different airline smelling smoke, causing even more chaos, and causing the fire truck to rush to the scene of a different airplane. Who do you hold accountable here? The Democratic Party. Because they actually are controlling all the airports and travel these days. The real reason for the Democratic Party is holding the people of America hostage at all the airports in America because they really don't care or like how the President of the United States. So they are letting killers run free in America. How do they just let young women get killed by a terrorist when all the Democrats allowed not only to vote here, but also to run free in all free states, could in fact run free in all cities? You have to not sit back and think too hard about why the Democratic Party doesn't represent the pride of America. The House Democratic Party doesn't claim that they are holding Americans hostage. Yes, it's at airports, is truly accurate and totally unfair to all workers who have kids who work like me, who have to live from paycheck to paycheck in order to make ends meet. I will also place some of the blame on them for the late flight, where a flight attendant was doing their job but lacked the backing of the TSA. So why not bring in ICE agents now that the lines aren't as long anymore? Let's break down what's real versus what might be getting mixed up. Who actually controls airports and travel? U.S. Airports and security are overseen by agencies such as the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, and the Department of Homeland Security. Airlines themselves, like Delta, American, etc., are private companies. Congress, including Democrats or Republicans, does not directly control day-to-day airport operations. Why people might feel stuck. At airports, there are real issues that can cause long delays or frustration. Flight cancellations or delays, weather, staffing shortages, airline scheduling, security screening lines, TSA staffing or peak travel times, system outages, FAA or airline computer issues, travel rules or ID requirements, like real ID deadlines. These problems can feel overwhelming, but they're operational or logistical issues, not a political group detaining travelers. The United States House of Representatives passes laws, approves budgets, oversees federal agencies. Therefore, the Democrats' parties love holding people hostage at all airports with long delays and imposing more restrictions. Flight cancellations or delays, weather, staffing shortages, airline scheduling, security screening lines, TSA staffing or peak travel times, system outages, FAA or airline computer issues, travel rules or ID requirements, like real ID deadlines. These problems can feel overwhelming, but they're operational or logistical issues, not a political group. Detaining travelers. What the House actually does is nothing at all, but collect big paychecks for themselves. Here are some of the down-low scoop updates from the DHS shutdown, as the Senate funding deal stalls over the latest offer from Democrats. Know how to make day 40 a failure 8 times, causing total chaos and delays for a 4-hour layover. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has no choice but to continue to blame Democrats for the shutdown. Because it's true, not false, what they're doing to the people of America. They'll ask for something, Leave It said. We'll give them that concession, and then they say, oh wait, that's not enough actually. I believe that's why I stated earlier that the point is the cruelty. They want this chaos. Leave It accused Democrats of wanting to distract from the success of our military overseas right now. Thune rejects Democrats' offer. Not even close. Thune poured cold water on Democrats' latest counteroffer to fund DHS and reform ICE, telling reporters it's not even close to being real. They know better. They're asking for things that have already been turned down, so it just seems like they're going in circles, the South Dakota Republican said. Thune said there are 9 new demands from Democrats, including components that are non-starters. Democrats have stressed that requiring agents not to wear masks and to use judicial warrants is an essential part of a deal. However, according to Thune, the warrants and mask issues have never been on the table. This is another example of the Democrats not being serious, he added. The Senate is expected to vote Thursday on the GOP proposal to fund the bulk of DHS, while withholding funds for ICE's enforcement and removal operations division. Schumer says Democrats sent Republicans a new counter. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer speaks on the Senate floor on Wednesday, March 25, 2026. On Wednesday, March 25, 2026, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer speaks on the floor. Senate TV. Speaking on the Senate floor, Schumer said Democrats sent a counterproposal to Republicans earlier Tuesday to fund DHS, while at the same time rein in ICE with common-sense guardrails. Our offer is a reasonable, good-faith proposal that contains some of the very same asks Democrats have been talking about now for months, Schumer said. Schumer said he and Jeffries have spoken, and he agrees we need these strong reforms. Republicans are making an outrageous and bad faith claim that Democrats are shifting the focus, according to the minority leader, who referred to this as nonsense. He said Democrats have been clear from the beginning about what they need to move forward. Schumer said Democrats are ready to discuss the issue at a moment's notice. He said, "We will not walk away." Schumer added, "Time is of the utmost importance." Democrats, according to Thune, keep moving the goalposts. Leaving the Senate floor, Thune said Republicans have been as accommodating as I think you possibly can in negotiations with Democrats. I don't know how you get to a solution where they keep moving the goalposts and where, when you hit a target that they said would be acceptable, they walk away from it, he told reporters. That's happened multiple times, including most recently over the weekend. He stated that the administration has implemented a number of Democratic-initiated changes, including replacing Kristi Noem at DHS and sending Tom Homan to oversee the ICE operation in Minnesota earlier this year. The administration has offered repeatedly numerous reforms to the way ICE does its business, and in some cases the Democrats didn't even respond, Thune said. The South Dakota Republicans said Democrats had indicated that the GOP proposal they ultimately offered could be acceptable to them ahead of the White House meeting on Monday. On the request to remove masks and require judicial warrants, Thune said those areas are very, very difficult to write policy about. But I think you've already seen changes happen with the new leadership at DHS with regard to both those policies. He stated that a number of additional policy modifications were presented to them but rejected. I don't know how they will ever satisfy their crazy online political base, because that's what this is about, Thune said. Jeffries says GOP offer isn't close to what Democrats need in a deal. Jeffries, coming out of a meeting in Schumer's office, told reporters that the latest GOP offer isn't close to what Democrats need to see in a deal. Asked by reporters about some of the reforms that Democrats have been seeking, Jeffries said requirements to prohibit agents from wearing masks and on the use of judicial warrants are absolutely essential. The minority leader said he expected a counteroffer in the near future after the GOP offer was rejected by Senate Democrats. We want ICE to be compelled to conduct itself like every other police officer, every other law enforcement agency, every other cop in the country, Jeffries said. Jeffries indicated that lawmakers should stay in town until a deal can be reached. We need to resolve this issue, he said. We should resolve it this week. Thune says no decision, yet on canceling recess. Thune told reporters as the Senate convened that no decisions have been made yet on whether senators would stay in town if they're unable to reach a deal. I think it's awfully hard not to have the government funded if we're not here, Thune said. If a deal was reached, the majority leader stated that if senators left town, we'd certainly get everybody back to vote. Hopefully, the next couple of days will be productive, he added. House Freedom Caucus chair says he won't support the Senate GOP's offer for the Republicans. I won't vote for it in the House, he said, adding that he expects it could garner enough support from Democrats to pass the lower chamber. Harris argued that the funding division strategy sets a negative precedent and called it very unusual. We have never done that, where we strip out one agency from within the agency, and actually only part of that agency within an agency, to not fund them, he said. Democrats meeting in Schumer's office. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and a group of Democrats are meeting in Schumer's office at the Capitol to find better ways not to pass the SAVE Act bill.